Hi YouTube, welcome back to my channel where I post weekly art videos. I hope everybody is doing great today. If you saw last week's video, I did have a bit of a cold, but I am feeling a lot better. If anybody has been keeping track of my Instagram, you have heard that this week has been a bit of a tough one. Our cat Jono has stopped eating. We have taken him to the vet, but so far we are only able to afford treating the external symptoms, which at this moment are diarrhea and ear pain or possible ear infections. So we're treating those and seeing how it goes. I was able to get him to eat a bit tonight. So if anybody's here and worried about that, stay tuned on my Instagram. I will definitely update you if he gets back to normal or has to return to the vet. In addition, if you've been on my Instagram, you know that I am bruised like crazy all over my arms. I decided to go back to my massage therapist now that they are back open with COVID restrictions slowly lifting, and it's been a really long time and my arms are not well. So I'm very, very bruised, but I am gonna be taking the next week to work on commission. So I'm really excited about that. So for today's video, I will be going over the process of another D&D character and reading out her backstory. Her backstory is the first one I ever had, but not the first one I ever wrote. She's my very, very first character. Her name is Amren Glas, and I created her back in August, September, and I had her backstory more in the back of my mind than actually written out, but as we're getting deeper into the story, it was important to have it written down, so I have it all ready for you guys today, including the process video. It is an older piece of art, but I hope you like it all the same. Before we get into that, of course, we are going to talk about the comment of the week. So for this week, from last week's video, it is from Suzanne Ofori Bodu, and she says, "Hope you feel better soon. The piece turned out great. I love the texture on the clothes." Firstly, thank you so much, Suzanne, for taking the time to comment. I wish I could express how big of a deal that is for creators online. Commenting is a huge part of interactions with posts, so thank you for taking the time to comment. Secondly, thank you for your compliment. You're so sweet. And third, I am also really happy with the texture on the clothes. Looking back, I kind of wanted to talk about this because I thought it was important to show you guys what I liked and what I didn't like in regards to the texture. Maybe something that you guys could incorporate into your own art, or maybe something that you guys don't even care about, but I figured I would talk about it anyways. So this piece was a draw this in your style. Check out the video if you want to see the full process video, but I was really happy with the clothes texture for a few reasons. One, I found that I did my best to try and be a bit messier, especially with the pants, and I used a larger brush instead of trying to be so fine with the details. And I think it turned out better than it would have if I tried to go too detailed. But also on the sweater, I added these little biddies, which I have mentioned in a previous Patreon tutorial is something I like to do, especially with big fuzzy sweaters. So I find it helped and helps a lot when I draw to add fun little things like that. So the thing that I didn't like about the sweater is I found that I used the airbrush tool a bit too much, especially on the arm. Despite the fact that clearly it's going around her arm, it just feels a little too round, too cylindrical. It just doesn't feel right when looking at the arm to me. But I thought I'd mention those in case you're still learning as well, and things that you might like or dislike in art. And yeah, so other than that, let's get into today's video of the process of Amren Glas and reading her backstory. As far back as I can remember, I only know humans as cruel, selfish, and dangerous. I lost my parents when I was too young to remember anything about them, and instead I grew up in the streets of Baldur's Gate after leaving the orphanage where I was forced to train with weapons. The only knowledge I have of my parents is my name, Amren Glas, which was left on a note on top of me when I was left outside of the orphanage. I'm so absolutely horrible with any weapons that I grew frustrated and left to defend myself on my own terms. My weapon abilities are so bad that the final day at the orphanage, Dana's Orphanage and Academy for Delinquents, I actually dropped a knife directly into my left foot. I still have a bit of pain from where the knife went through and tend to favor my right. However, most don't notice as I tend to walk with confidence and sway. After many months, starving and dirty with only one friend to keep myself company, a rat I call Atreyu, who I found mysteriously one day in my pocket, an old crone approached me, offering me great power for a life of servitude. As a 13-year-old girl stuck on the streets in a cruel human realm, I did not care about the negatives. She gave me powers that I could not have dreamed of, but in turn had me do jobs for her. This could be anything from taking the lives of criminals and helping them cross over, or taking the lives of the elderly and children when it was their time. I have an incredibly hard time doing this, watching others lose the ones they love, whether they're leaving or staying. After a handful of years doing the duties of my patron, the Raven Queen, I turned to illegal drugs called Traveler's Dust, allowing me to escape into a different reality and forget all the faces I have seen and killed. Many times I tried to kick the habit, but none ever stuck, until, at the age of 22, I was in the middle of coming down from the Traveler's Dust, determined not to fall back into its throes when I sat there in a muddy and grubby tavern, drinking the night away when a smelly, large human man appeared in front of me. I dressed quite scandalously, so this is not abnormal, and I often have to turn away suitors or ignore them. However, this man would not leave, and he would not back up. He began to harass me and grab my hips. Suddenly, the man was shot back with such force he fell to the floor. Above him stood a taller woman with darker clothing and a hood over her head. She simply stared at him, and he ran out of the tavern so quick that it was hard to keep up with my drunken eyes. Afterwards, I watched her sit back at the bar, and I moved my mug next to hers and sat down. After profusely thanking her, and definitely talking too much, I was able to make her smile. I have not picked up Traveler's Dust since then. Now, after 2 years grabbing mediocre job after job with my new best friend, Ren, we have grown to love each other and cannot imagine what we would be doing without one another. We mainly picked up simple jobs, delivering packages, working as scribes, and other small things, but recently we decided to try our hand at protection duties, starting with a group of wagons heading to Kars. Thank you for listening to Amren's story. I truly wish all of you a really good week. If you are a weekly watcher, I know I don't have many, but I love you if you're here. If you're a weekly watcher, next week I will be sharing the process video to Flora from the Winx Club and talking about free ways to support your favorite artists. But other than that, I really hope you're having a good one. Remember to wash your feet. Bye, guys.